All right. So right now we're doing exercise problem number 4 on the homework from 5.3. Okay, and the problem reads: the price elasticity of demand for scented candles is 1.5. The price elasticity of demand for tapered candles is 2.0. And the cross elasticity of demand for tapered candles with respect to the price of a scented candle is 1.5. That's the information we have, and the question asks us to do the following. If the price of a scented candle rises by 4%, the percentage change in the price of a tapered candle that will lead to no change in the quantity demanded of tapered candles is what percent? And because Trevor answered this correctly, we have that the answer is a 3% change. Now, that was a little funky, but we have a 3% change. Now, how did we get there? Okay, so what's the first thing that we need to do? We know that the price of a scented candle is going to go up by 4%, right? So we can write in an increase of 4% in price of scented candle. Okay? And the question then asks us, basically, what percentage change in the quantity of demanded of tapered candles, in the price of a tapered candle, will lead to no change in the quantity demanded of tapered candles. Right? So how do we figure that out? What is the first thing we want to do? What's the first thing we want to do? Anyone? Mr. Baker.
Find the price for it.
Well, we can't care about the price, right? Because we're dealing only with percentage changes. So at this point, what we're basically saying is it doesn't really matter what the price is, it matters how much it changes.
Okay.
Right? Trudeau.
Multiply by 4% increase in price to the scented candles PED of 1.5.
Multiply the 4% increase in price by 1.5 because that's the PED for scented candles.
Yeah.
Okay, and that will give us what?
The new PED?
Nope. So if we did that, what we're essentially doing is we're saying 1.5 equals, okay, x over 4. Right? Because the 4 is the percentage change in quantity demanded, and that's coming from the idea that the price elasticity of demand for scented candles is 1.5. Yeah?
I thought the 4 was percent change in price.
Yeah.
It is, and that's why I put it on the denominator. Did I say quantity demanded? Okay? Because the formula is percent change in quantity demanded over percent change in price, right? And so, what we have here, then to work this out, you get 1.5 times 4, right? Because you're going to multiply both sides by 4, and you get 6 equals x. If it wants to show up. There we go. Now, that's how we get to the 6, right? That's one way to get to the 6. We could also have decided that because the cross elasticity of demand for tapered candles with respect to the price of a scented candle is 4, or is 1.5, then that 4% change in price of a scented candle must be in response to must lead to a 6% change in the quantity demanded of a tapered candle, right? It must actually, because the cross elasticity of demand for tapered candles with respect to the price of a scented candle is 1.5, just like the price elasticity of demand for scented candles, then a 4% change in price for scented candles will also cause both a 6% change in quantity demanded of scented candles and a 6% change in the quantity demanded for tapered candles. Okay? Because of that cross elasticity of demand. Now this is where we got stuck. You have a question?
Like, if we were gonna find the quantity demanded for tapered candles, wouldn't it be
No, and what you asked is if we were going to find the quantity demanded change for tapered candles, wouldn't it be 8? Because of the price elasticity of demand for tapered candles being 2, right? And the reason that's not the answer is very simply because the price elasticity of demand for tapered candles is the percent change in quantity demanded of tapered candles over the percent change in price of tapered candles. And we have neither of those bits of information right now. Does that make sense? Okay. But you bring up a really good point, right? Because our next step then is we need to take a look at that 2.0 equals, right? And now we know the percent change in quantity demanded for tapered candles, don't we? Okay? 6 over X. Okay? So, how do we work this out? When X is on the denominator, how do you work that out? Divide?
You do 2x equals 6.
You do 2x equals 6, right? If you multiply x out, so you'll go to 2x equals 6. And now to solve that, you divide 2 out, right? And you get x equals 6 over 2, or x equals 3. Okay? Now, does anybody have any questions about how we did that and where this right here came from this? Okay? And that if you look at our 2.0, we got straight from there. And if you look at our 6, we got by doing the math over here, right? By doing the math for the cross elasticity of demand for tapered candles with respect to the price of scented candles. Make sense? Everybody got that now? Okay. Now, if you look at the walk me through this, okay, real quickly, we'll just walk through basically exactly what we did. What the problem asks is for us to find the percentage change in the price of a tapered candle that will lead to no change in the quantity demanded of tapered candles when the price of a scented candle rises by 4%. Okay? So the first thing is we need to understand we want no change in the quantity demanded for tapered candles. Okay? The change in the price of a scented candle has increased the quantity demanded for tapered candles by 6%. So we know that because we did out that math, right? We know that the 4% change in price based on the cross elasticity of demand for tapered candles with respect to scented candles is 6%, right? So we did that out. And then we know that if the price of a tapered candle rises, the quantity demanded of tapered candles will do what? We know it will decrease, right? Because of the law of demand. Remember, there is no such thing as the law of supply and demand. There are only two separate laws, the law of demand and the law of supply. Right? So this is as a result of the law of demand. Okay? And then we can use the price elasticity of demand to calculate the percentage change in the price of a tapered candle that will decrease the quantity demanded of tapered candles by 6%. Okay, making the net change in the quantity demanded of tapered candles equal to 0. So basically what we're doing is we're taking that 6% change in quantity demanded and we're backing it to 0 by creating a percent change in price. Does that make sense? And that is exactly what we did.